welcome to Recipes Tested. I'm Brianna Robinson, and today I'm going to be attempting a freezer meal. This is one that I found on Pinterest. I will leave the link where I found it down in the description below. So if you want to make this, by the time you're done watching this video, you can get all the ingredients and amounts from there. This is going to be like a broccoli and chicken ravioli bake. It looks pretty easy. It looks really good. I'm going to be making this a freezer meal. The instructions don't necessarily say that you can or should freeze this, but that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna go over the process of how the recipe's made, show you guys how I froze it, all that jazz. Then at the end of the video, I'll show you what it's like after it's done baking, because all that I'm gonna do is take it out of the freezer the night before and let it defrost in the fridge overnight. So it should be pretty much all the way defrosted before I bake it, and then we're just gonna bake it. So I'm just gonna let you know if it's love at first bite. So if you wanna see how this recipe turns out, just keep watching and I'll get testing. I first got going on my filling, so I went and cooked my chicken. I seasoned it with salt and pepper and just basically cooked this until it was caramelized. This is chicken breast, so it usually does dry out a little bit, but I didn't really mind because there's gonna be a cream sauce that's added to it that'll help, get it more moist, so I didn't really mind if it was dry. Then after that, I added in some fresh broccoli. I wouldn't recommend frozen because it might not be texturally great, but that's up to you. Next, I added in some garlic and just cooked that until it smelled like garlic. And this part's done. So I went and added all of that to a bowl to set aside to add back in later. And the next step was to get going on the cream sauce. So I added in some butter and melted that down. And then I added in some flour. And this is the most complicated part of the recipe. You're making a roux. So just cook this until it smells like cooked pie dough and not raw flour. And then you're gonna be good to go. It won't taste all gummy. And here you can either do what I was doing and add cold milk, hot roux, no lumps, or you can add it a little bit at a time like the recipe says. End result will still be the same, you just have to cook the way I did it a little bit longer. And once it was all thickened, I seasoned it with salt and pepper. And this next step was not in the instructions, but I never make a white sauce without some nutmeg. So this is whole nutmeg that I grated in just a little bit, makes it a little bit nutty and a little bit more rich and decadent. So I mixed all of that together and then added in my cheeses. This was mozzarella and then some Parmesan, and just mix that in. It'll get nice and thick and melted and yummy, yummy. And so once that was all heated and bubbling through, I went to make it a frozen meal, and I put a little bit of the sauce down on a foil lined 9x13 and just coated the bottom of that. And then I added my chicken and broccoli back in, mixed that all together, and tasted for seasoning to make sure that this was going to taste really good when it was reheated. And then I got some frozen cheese raviolis. They will cook when this is baking, so don't worry about that. I just lined them on the bottom. And please be careful when you're separating the ones that are really stuck together. I actually did stab my hand when I did this and it hurt really bad, so don't do that. But then I added in the whole rest of the mixture, all of it, just right in the middle, and smoothed that out. And then I added a second layer of the cheese ravioli. Last step, topped it with a teeny weeny bit more cheese just to help the top layer of ravioli cook a little bit more, and you can never go wrong with more cheese. And then I wrapped the foil up, tried to make it so that none of the actual recipe, the ingredients touched my glass. I don't know why, that's just what I decided to do. And then I popped it in my freezer for overnight. And then the next day, after it defrosted in the fridge, this is what it looked like before it baked, and this is what it looked like after it baked. I did season it with some Italian seasoning, but this is what it looks like when it's all done. All right, guys, this is done, so I'm just gonna give it a taste and let you know if it's love at first bite. Some broccoli and chicken. Flavor-wise, this is really good. This was an easy recipe to make. I don't regret making it. I do regret trying to make a freezer meal out of it. It took significantly longer to cook in the oven at a higher temperature, and this is still pretty cold. I'm just gonna zap it in the microwave really quick, but I don't recommend this as a freezer meal, but as a recipe, this is definitely a 10 out of 10. The ravioli, it's cheese ravioli, it's good. Broccoli and cheese, good. Chicken, good. Like, everything about this is awesome. I definitely recommend this. Just don't make my mistake and make this a freezer meal. This is something I would say you can make ahead. I'd say the process of this was really easy. I feel like this would be a recipe I would recommend to someone who's just kind of getting started into cooking, just because, you know, roux and cheese sauces aren't really all that difficult to make. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I think this is good. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish my dinner here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and spending some time with me. I appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe while you're here and leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you guys with my next video. Bye.